Hi, welcome to the Stitch TV show. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Pam. We're happy you're joining us today. The Stitch is an online quilting talk show, the perfect soundtrack for your sewing room. Join us for twice monthly talk shows, virtual stitch-ins, celebrity interviews, and podcasts. Learn more at thestitchtvshow.com.
Our show today is brought to you by QT Fabrics, and we have ombre stitches, which is a part of the giveaway.
That just closed, so quit talking about that.
Oh, sorry. We're giving this away.
Some lucky person will have this in their sewing room by the time this, hopefully. Well,
yes.
Maybe shortly thereafter. Depends on how speedy I am on the old shipping.
How often do you go to the post office? So anyway.
But yeah, so
I love them. I think they're great.
Squishy.
They took like 10 minutes setting this up, and you're like destroying our set just as soon as.
Yes.
All right. Well, as long as we've got a plan.
I'm the Naomi Campbell of Stitch.
Oh, okay.
You're not my mom. You're not. So anyway, thank you, QT.
Yes.
For A, beautiful fabric, and B, for the giveaway that just closed that all the people watching this missed out on. Just kidding.
All right. So today we are going to be talking about one patch quilts and Trapunto. And we're joined by Pam's quilt, Feeling Clammy at the Irish Disco.
Yes.
But it says Glammy, so I'm thinking that
because
was
of autocorrect.
Yeah.
No, autocorrect.
I hate autocorrect. It's awful.
Autocorrupt is even worse than autocorrect.
See? I do it just verbally.
There you go.
It's sad.
Did Apple take over your brain?
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, thank God. It would be bad if it did.
So, what's up?
I've been teaching lately, so busy with that. I actually started this project with I'm doing, and if you watch our posts that are already out there, I'm doing a Best Buddies quilt with a hockey player, Roman Yossi, that will be used to raise money for the organization Best Buddies. So that's been my focus the last few days. So, and I've been posting, the stages of how that's going, and stuff. So, and we're recording this way before it gives away. So, I don't know. Does this go up when it's the gala?
This is the late February.
Oh no! So the gala hadn't happened yet. So, because I know one of the episodes posts on the gala.
Unless you're watching this in the future, in which case it's already happened.
It's like time travel, which would be my superpower if I had one. I would be like Doctor Who, time travel. Totally do that. You wouldn't do that?
No, I'm saying for you. I don't wish that power for you.
Why? Time travel? I would totally be into time
travel. All
you
would do is you would totally lose your ability to work to a deadline. And it would be a disaster. I love you dearly. However, if you could just have deadlines be meaningless, you would never finish anything.
Well, no, I would spend all my time going back to historical moments and watching what really happened. That's what I would do.
I have a feeling it would be super boring. Like, oh, okay, you learn about whatever big battle in the history book, and it sounds like an exciting 5 minutes. Like, nope. Everyone laid around and had horrible stomach cramps and a lot of weird injuries. For days and days and days.
No. I would be more political intrigue kind of stuff. Like I would want to be in the meeting rooms. And
I think they would notice. Like, super secret 2-spy meeting. What's this chick doing here?
Probably. Anyway. So what have you been doing? I know.
I did that thing.
She
did.
It's
a guild challenge. Yeah. So our challenge reveal was end of January at our guild meeting. And I had doubts that I would get it done.
I had doubts you would get it done. I have to admit, a little bit of doubt. Like, because you were on a mission and you were like, it's gorgeous. I loved it.
It turned out well, and I won.
She won first place in both day and evening. So she got top dog prize.
Day to evening challenge.
Day and evening.
No, but now
there were like
33 entries.
30. I thought it was 38, but maybe it was 33 in the day. Is that what I told you? Yes. I was there. Oh, it was so funny. So there's 100 people in this room, and I'm sitting in the back row.
And I'm like, Lynn, you got to go to the meeting.
Yeah, she made me go to the meeting.
So you can shill for votes from that.
And you couldn't do that. So they gave you, what they did was they put little envelopes on each quilt that was entered.
Yeah, it was anonymous.
And then you got 10 little strips of paper that you could divide up your vote and however you wanted to do it. So I did vote for like 3 other quilts.
I voted for one.
But then I put all the rest in yours. Because you could divide it up however you want. And apparently that helped because there was only like a few votes between the top 2. So you went over the edge. Luckily, I only voted for 3 other quilts. Had it been 4, you may have lost. I don't know. Oh, that would have been my fault.
But I'm like, so I was not at the day meeting because I was at my job. And I'm like kind of waiting for like.
Yeah.
And so she starts texting me like, we're voting. It's happening.
Yeah.
And then, oh, yeah, you won. And then I don't know why you called me.
They wanted you to FaceTime them. The whole guild wanted to see you on FaceTime.
Meanwhile, I'm on like a serious business meeting, like talking to possibly the chief marketing officer of my company. I'm like, no, quilts.
So, but what was funny is when they announced yours, I was like, this is really quiet in there. And I went, yes! And like stood up. And they were like, why is she yelling? This is not her quilt. Kind of thing. But I was really excited for you. That was cool.
It was
cool.
But now we just wait to hear. I think the guild is entering it as a group challenge in AQS.
They are. If the top, I think
the top 10.
Yeah, but only I thought
that
they
measure
only
30 by 30,
right?
Like in the size.
Yeah. I don't know the details because I'm not in charge. Yay,
so,
me!
Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear that. And then I thought, well, do I enter this in other shows?
You should. I think this should be entered in next year's QuiltCon. I do. It's a great quilt, and it's got beautiful quilting. She should enter it.
I gotta put some more back art on it. There's some tension issues in a couple areas.
Nobody's good. They judge differently, so I think you should enter it. Everybody should write in and say, Pam, you need to enter your quilt, so we could vote. You could put like a Facebook vote out there. Should Pam enter her quilt? Yes or no? Kind of.
Ooh, speaking of Facebook.
Yes. Oh, this is good.
This is good. So we were chatting about on one of our virtual stitch-ins, is there merit in setting up a Facebook group for the Stitch TV show? And now we have such a group. Right now there's 3 people in it.
I'm in.
My mom is in. We'll invite production staff next. My mom already posted, good luck with your new venture. I'm like, a Facebook group, not. Okay. So we will start promoting that. I more didn't want to like start welcoming people into our half-built house. Frankly.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Oh, look at all the crappy stuff we left out in the living room. But.
And it's called, I love the name.
What's Up Stitches?
What's Up Stitches?
So it's connected to our page. So if you go to our page on Facebook, facebook.com/The Stitch TV Show, there should be a link to the related group. But we'll start, promoting that and figuring out what we want that group to be. But really, like, come post wacky pet pictures.
Yes.
Pictures of your quilts.
Definitely. Oh, and we got some quilt stories.
Anything you're Netflixing or reading that we should also be aware of and doing the same.
Because, like, I'm going to be done with what I'm binging right now, so I'll need suggestions. I'm just saying.
Yes.
It'll be good. All right, so we're talking about today on the show, moving along. We're talking about today on the show, one-patch quilts.
What's a one-patch quilt, Lynn?
It's where you take one
patch
shape
and make it into a quilt.
See how we work together? Yes. So this is a great example of a one-patch quilt in that it's a single shape that's repeated.
Yes.
Kind of.
So it could be as simple as squares.
Or triangles.
Or rectangles.
Or hexies.
Tumblers.
Apple cores.
Rhombuses.
Trapezoids.
Oh God, I've run out. I'm at the end.
Clamshell. Yeah, but you didn't name it. So
but I made it, so I think that's
true.
Point to Pam.
Point taken. So do you make
hexagons?
I already said hexies.
But I said hexagons.
How's that different?
Pentagons. No, that doesn't work mathematically.
You can't.
Never mind.
Octagons.
That's the cold medication talk.
Octagons.
You can't do that either. You need diamonds in there too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
See?
Yeah.
Stupid geometry. Hate that guy. Even though I had 104 average in geometry.
I did too. I was like really good in geometry. Maybe that's a quilt thing. Like we just see things in geometric patterns or whatever. I don't know.
What was your geometry teacher's name?
Oh gosh, that was so long ago. I don't remember.
Mrs. Persky.
No, he slept in class. Seriously.
Oh, I had geometry at like 8 a.m. or whatever the first period
yeah,
was.
I had first period.
It was my homeroom.
Yeah, it wasn't my homeroom, but I had it first period. Oh, it's gonna come. It's like the Martha bullet. I'm gonna yell it out then later on today.
Okay, so one patch quilts.
Love them.
How many have you made?
Let's see. I made a tumbler quilt. I've made a one block wonder, which is essentially a one patch quilt.
That's triangles.
It's triangles that form into hexagons. So I've made that. I have made. That's probably it. Only a couple. I've never done a clamshell. No.
I got the rulers.
Good. I think after seniors, I'd like to try one.
Yeah. And so I got the bundle, and this is the Glam Clam rulers from Latifah Saphir.
Right.
And they come in 3 sizes. There's like 6-inch, 8-inch, and 12-inch. And I think this is the 8-inch because that's what I could cut out of a fat 8.
And that was the guild challenge. It had to be a one patch quilt.
Yeah, 3 colors in a one patch quilt. So my colors, you can't see the bottom of it, but I had orange, kind of a medium green, and then silver because they handed us like mystery crayon packets.
Right.
So that's why it's Irish disco.
Do you consider like if you just do all squares, that's a one patch? I guess it is.
I mean, it's
kind of
boring. Well, but I will like pixel quilts, one patch quilts.
Oh, I've done tons of those.
Yeah.
That counts.
Yeah, there you go.
All my mosaic quilts are one patch quilts then.
Yeah, but they're not sewn together. They're up. I think by traditional guidelines.
Well, yeah, I don't
stitch them together, not lay them on top of each other.
But
it's like a piecing, not an applique.
Right. It is
like
a piecing technique.
Frankly, Lynn and I are not the quilt police, so you do you, girlfriend.
Right, exactly. If you want to do that, you go right ahead. I did a tumbler quilt that I really liked. It was a ruler by, I don't know, famous ruler company.
I have several. Well, I have made tumblers using Dresden plate rulers.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Because I like a fat tumbler. I don't know why.
Yeah. This was where the tumbler quilt that I did, which we'll show on an upcoming episode, is you took a jelly roll and sewed it into 2 strips at a time and then cut the tumblers out of that. So it gave you more interest in it. So, but that's what I did. And then I've done I've never done a hexie quilt. Well, I've done a hexie pillow. And that was the last one. Oh, our pattern Belinda's hexie. That's almost a one patch. Almost.
But like we had borders and stuff on it. So.
But still, it's majority of it is one patch. Yeah. I like one patch quilts. I mean, and they're quicker to put together sometimes. Was this quick to put together? Oh, that look said no.
Well, no, because of the cutting. Because you have to be, but you can't just like kind of rough cut some curves and hope it works out. And I will say
you can never rough cut unless it's wonky curves. You can't rough cut.
Yeah.
Like Dresden plates or a drunkard's path, or you've got to be specific in the curve.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your radii have to align.
Yes.
It's not a metaphysical statement. It's a physical statement.
It's real. It's real.
It is real.
Yes. So you think they take longer than other?
Well, I think it depends
unless
on the
it's
shape.
Squares.
Yeah, I mean squares. I could pull those out and have a square quilt now.
Right. Yeah, and you do.
But I think with these, there's, although it's curves, it was minimal pinning. It's sort of like a pin in the center.
That's if you're comfortable doing curves, though.
True.
Some people are a little
not so.
Yeah,
and I will say, like the first seam that I put together was not good. I was like, she sat across from me at retreat, and I was just like, I have jack this up. Like, I have sewn a wedding dress out of very slippery satin.
She was
And
not
this is
happy.
jacked up.
She was not happy. I'm just like, here's your seam ripper. It's going to be okay.
And I think I took it out like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, this is not going to be good.
Yeah. By the third, I was a little worried.
But I will say the benefit of the way the pattern is written, specific for the Glam Clam, is that for the edge pieces and like the top and bottom row, she has you kind of overcut the size.
Oh, so you can trim.
So you can trim.
That's good.
And that was the saving grace, because it's like this weird corner piece. It's like the bottom left where you start to kind of sew all your bottom row together, and then you start piecing in. And it was the first one that I pieced in. And it's, you would expect it to be kind of oriented like this, in your curve. And it was like, whoop. And I'm like, well, thank goodness it's oversized, because now I just trim it up and you never know. And except for all you people.
I think that's
I just
common.
Don't tell.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell anyone you jacked it up. I'll keep it quiet.
She's a good friend.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
on the DL.
I think that that's a common curve piecing like mistake, or when you're letting the machine kind of take over where the fabric wants to go instead of you kind of controlling it in the curve, which really is helpful when you're curve piecing. So if you're new to curve piecing, I do it without pinning at all, but I have done several curved piecing quilts, so I'm very comfortable with it. But if you're new, definitely pin.
Yeah.
And that will help.
But don't overpin. Overpinning can cause just as much weird
well,
problems.
You get those wrinkles.
Yeah, the kind of
little
creasy thing.
Yeah.
I will say the pressing on this felt tricky.
Because
there are parts, where it's coming down to this very skinny point. You can't press in. Neither can you just press to one side. You have to like press all of that,
right,
like away from the point until you get to the bottom row. And she's like, press it in, and I'm like, well, I don't think that's right.
That's not gonna
and
work.
I could tell when I was quilting, like there's so much bulk down at that that part.
Yeah. So how do you make? Have you done very many one patch quilts aside from the clams?
I mean the hexagons that we did for Belinda.
Right, the hexagons.
I've done a ton of like squares, but I don't really count.
So how do you make one patch quilts look interesting? Like, what's the trick?
I mean, it's down to fabric choice and value placement.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, this is a very easy pattern to just go completely scrappy. Just like, I like these colors. And I have seen some very cute clamshell quilts where they took some clamshells and turned them into little panda heads.
Oh, yeah.
They applicate some little eyes and ears on them, and that's super cute.
Or you could do that with bunny rabbits or frogs or
all
kinds of little.
Yep. So that's one easy way to, easy if you're good with applique.
Right.
But honestly, fabric selection, I think with this, you need to be more thoughtful that you don't have just, because even what I struggled with when I've got like an orange cluster of like, oh, I can't have the oranges be too close together in terms of value, or maybe they're the same value, but there's a different pattern.
I think this is where your phone comes in so handy, because you're laying it out, taking pictures, looking at it, and then changing it up, take another picture, and then just compare back and forth. This looks better. This looks better. If you don't have a design wall, one patch quilts are definitely design wall helpful.
Yes.
I mean,
now pro tip,
because we had
a design floor.
Yes.
But one thing you can go to in the U.S., we have dollar stores or even discount big box store and get a flannel backed vinyl tablecloth.
Right.
And lay it out so the slippery part's down and the flannel back part is facing up, and you lay your pieces out on that. And then that way, even if it's on a floor, you can still roll that up. The flannel keeps the pieces in place, and you can put it away if like you need your floor back to walk on.
Yeah, because every once in a while you do walk on a floor. But, no. But I also think that's good just for, sometimes you need to lay it out, look at it, walk away from it, come back,
shoo the cats off, look at it again.
Make the salukis move. And then look at it again later and see if you still like it. And I think this is good with not only, well, we said one block wonders. I think you have to do one block wonders that way, because one block wonders definitely flow into each other more than even, and that's the thing with one patch quilts. You can get a flow with them that you can't get with other.
Like you couldn't recreate. You could, with a
What?
lot of very intense and fussy placement of fabrics, with like star
Right.
blocks just next to each other.
Yeah.
But then you
get
lose. You don't get background and foreground like you do traditional with putting
right.
together a star block.
Right.
Because I've seen gorgeous.
Well, it has edges that this doesn't have.
Yeah.
That I think that what makes one patch quilts kind of stand out. If you're looking to make that rainbow quilt, or you're looking to have some kind of flow in your design, one patch quilts and maybe a Bargello, it gives you that more than anything else, I think. So I love it. I like all your fabrics too. I donated a couple of fabrics. Surprise, surprise, they were orange.
Well, because I thought I had brought enough variety of fabrics, and
I never have enough.
And what I got to is particularly the orange, where I'm like, oh, at the top row, and I'm like, I was going to be repeat. I didn't want to have more than 2 patches of the same fabric, and I got up to the top, and I was like, oh, I didn't bring enough oranges. Give me the oranges.
And surprise, we were at a guild retreat, and I actually had a whole stack of oranges with me.
Shocking.
It's amazing. Right there. But I do think if you were looking to make that kind of flow type of quilt, and what I'm saying is visually, the one patch is going to do it better than any other block that you can create.
Yeah. And I will say the benefit of a one patch, it's a great sampler for exploring different free motion quilting designs.
Oh, that's yeah, definitely.
And the good news is not every fabric is the superstar. Because when my saving grace was, what I knew I wanted to do in the solid fabrics is have a more intricate quilting design.
Because it's going to show up.
Because it's going to show up.
Right.
But then you get done with this super intense, like, oh my God, I just spent, half an hour quilting one tiny clamshell. Oh, thank goodness there's a busy print next to it, and I can just do a big swirl in it, and then I'm done.
I'm like, I just spent a half an hour? That's not even a fourth of the...
Here is a 7-minute quilt block. Done.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
But love it. And she did it on her Sweet 16. So she domestic.
Yeah. And purposely, I did the smallest pattern possible.
Is there another one patch that you would like to try that you haven't tried? Like, I haven't done a clamshell. I'd like to do a clamshell.
I like the idea of apple core, but I don't know that I have the patience.
That's the one I'm like, I'm thinking I want to try an apple core. And I think I could hand piece it. That would be really interesting. These are, I know we sew these on our sewing machines, but one patch quilts does lend itself to hand piecing, whereas other blocks are more difficult because you only have one shape. You just keep repeating that shape. So it's easier to cut out. It's easier to take along with you. So if you're looking for a hand piecing project, I would suggest a one patch quilt because it's going to lend itself to that easier.
And you can still do the big 12-inch clamshell blocks
yeah.
hand piece that rather quickly.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think so. But I think apple core is definitely, it's one I've been thinking about.
I've been thinking about it that much. I'm like, maybe.
I'm kind of looking for my next hand piecing project. So, I did that big castle wall one and now I don't have anything. And so, not that I have time right now, but she's got me on. I got spreadsheets and deadlines. Again, time travel. I would totally do time travel.
Would not end well.
I would travel Lynn with Dr.
Bombing the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Yep. That's one of the places I would totally go. Like American history, I'd be all over that Jack, all over it.
I would go judge their penmanship. Like, that's cute, Mr. Hancock.
You don't think my signature's similar? Like he signed really big? I'd totally do that. You see me. It's bad.
Don't make it right.
Okay, so now we're going to take a closer look at feeling clammy at the Irish disco, and we'll be right back. Trapunto.
Also, welcome back. Welcome to No Context Theater.
We do that all the time. So it's like a
Mr.
normal
Trapunto
thing.
was not your geometry teacher.
No, it wasn't. And I still can't remember his name. Mr.
Whip out your high school yearbook.
I know, it's upstairs.
We'll look for more pictures of my brother-in-law, too.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know that story.
They might know that story.
I don't think they do.
So I grew up in Virginia. My sister married a man she met when he was in the Navy. And then we come to I knew we grew up in Southern Illinois, but like, that's probably a pretty big place.
Yes.
And she'd been talking about growing up in Illinois. I'm like, I wonder if they just ever knew each other. It turns out, same small town. My brother-in-law went to high school with Lynn and her sister and was in the year between the two of them. So
yes, there you go. So we're like really related.
And like your sister's friend dated my brother-in-law's best friend or something.
And it's a really small town too.
Oh yeah.
So like 6,000 people in the town. The high school had didn't even have 500 in the high school. Yeah. So it's
none of those people named Trapunto though.
None. No.
Let's bring it back around.
Right.
Okay, so Trapunto
is our topic.
What is Trapunto?
Trapunto is a stuffed or raised quilting technique.
Extra poofy.
Yes, it's extra poofy. And there's a couple of ways for Trapunto to happen. You're looking at me like, what?
Oh, the old school way. So I've taken a class on Trapunto.
Oh, good. Because I haven't.
Oh,
go ahead.
Well,
we're probably going to have the same.
Oh, yeah, like old school stuffing from behind. So
you would stuff it.
In ye olden days, to get that look, they would like cut a tiny slit they would, make the quilt the thing, ta-da, flip it over, cut a tiny slit in the back, and like put extra stuffing in that area. Right. And then stitch it back up from the back.
Or they would take yarn, thicker yarn, and put a needle through it and stuff the yarn in that area. And that's another way to get it stuffed.
We don't recommend those methods.
No. Although I've seen a quilt at the Quilt Museum with the yarn stuffed, and it was really cool because it was a white quilt and it was quilted. It's a whole cloth white quilt quilted, and they had taken bright colors of yarn and trapuntoed certain areas that gave it a because it was white.
It kind of looks like watercolor.
It looks like watercolor effect. So it was kind of like, and it was flowers. So they had like these little pink flowers with the light green, and it was all trapunto. It was very interesting to look at. But it was done using yarn that was dyed. But I'm sure the yarn was twice as bright as what you were seeing through the white fabric to just give you the hint of the colors instead of the real color of yarn.
So the modern method.
The modern method is wash away thread.
So what you do, you get a high loft batting.
Yes.
Like a polyester.
I agree with
or
this.
Or wool.
Yes.
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 And you draw out your trapunto design on the front of your quilt top. Or you could just do it like on a block. It doesn't have to be a whole cloth.
True. No, this does not have to be whole cloth at all. I've seen it on regularly pieced quilt.
So you use a regular thread on your top thread and a water-soluble thread in your bobbin.
Okay.
You sandwich your high loft batting with your quilt top right side up so you can see the design you traced. And then with your regular top thread and water-soluble bobbin, I would use a regular stitch length.
Yes.
And then you can either walking foot or free motion quilt around that outline that you marked. And there's no backing in there.
Right. That's key. There is no backing at this stage.
And then you get blunt tip scissors. Very important.
Yes.
Very important.
Key.
And you carefully go and trim away all of the extra batting that's not part of that design.
So you're trimming away the outside, not the internal part of the design.
Right. I mean, unless you want a spot where it's super flat.
Correct.
But you would have stitched
all the stuff you want poofy, you trim away the stuff that's not poofy.
Right.
I hope that made sense. Yes. Okay, go ahead. You're doing really well.
I know. Yeah, I took a class. And then you carry on sandwiching with your regular batting, doing all your quilting, and you just kind of leave that there. And then all done, all the quilting. And I think I have done it before binding because I did it as part of a blocking process. Then you take a spray bottle of regular water, or if you feel adventurous, I wouldn't recommend sticking it in the washing machine. Like give it a good soak or a spray bottle, and that
I would do
dissolves.
the bathtub before
Yeah, bathtub would work. You don't want to agitate it because it's going to jack it.
Right.
And then the water soluble bobbin dissolves, and you kind of just take and pull that top thread. So I usually use a contrast thread if I'm doing that, so I can see
what you're pulling away.
Yeah, so
it's not going to be the same thread you use to quilt the rest of the quilt.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then you pull that away, and now you have a poofy bit. Huzzah.
Which is Trapunto.
Trapunto.
Yes. And you can do this on the long arm as well.
Yes.
Yeah. It'll work either domestic or long arm either way. So yeah, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Have you ever done it? You've done it.
Yeah, I took the class, and then we made like this little wall hanging with like dragonflies and butterflies and stuff. And I think I turned that into a placemat.
There you go. It would be not a great place. I mean, was it really?
It was like one big center motif. So you'd like put your plate on top of that.
And it was okay.
Yeah.
Because Trapunto definitely gives you depth of the. I've never Trapuntoed. I know how to, I knew what you described.
Who knew we'd have a show full of topics that I did and you didn't?
No joke. I did the one patch. Did Tumblr.
It's cute.
And something else that I forgot.
I'm going to just sit here and be right.
I can't let that happen. Okay. No, I've never done Trapunto, but I do think that I can get a fake Trapunto because that's a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
Because if you're doing that on a long arm, I've got to put that batting on. I've got to take it off. I've got to cut away. I've got to put more batting on. I've got to. So what?
Well, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend just stretching batting on a long arm and then putting a top on. Like that would not.
I would put a false back. You could get away with false back, and then you cut that away as well as cut away the. And I think that's how they tell you to do it if you're doing it on a long arm. Is cut that away just like you cut away the batting that you cut away. Yeah. What would prevent you though, thinking this through though, what would prevent you from using a water soluble thread on top and bottom? Why did they tell you to do it? Because I would have done water soluble, not have taken the class, water soluble on top and bottom. Because then I just wash it all away and I don't have to pull out the thread.
For me, it was using the contrast thread to hold the Trapunto batting in place. So when I went back to, because you do a regular quilting line, like right along there, to me it was easier to see.
I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
In case my marking, like if I did chalk for marking, that's going to wipe away with all that handling.
Right.
But the contrast thread to outline the Trapunto shape, to me, helped me know like where I needed to go to trace that.
Okay. That makes sense.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
But I don't have fear enough to not use it, but I would be afraid, like, oh, what if there is a little bit of gunk left from water-soluble thread? Now it's on my quilt.
Oh,
so I think to me it's just
where it's in the middle.
Yeah,
you're not you don't care. Good point. All right. I haven't done it, so. But I do think I can get a fake Trapunto look by using double bat.
And quilt the snot out of stuff.
Quilt the snot out of stuff. If you don't want to quilt the snot out of stuff, though, you definitely want to use this Trapunto technique.
Or you resign yourself to a life of non-poofy quilts.
That's true. You can have non-poofy quilts. There's no law. Not every quilt needs to be poofy. Just saying.
Speaking of poofy quilts, though.
What?
Have you ever made a biscuit quilt?
I have appraised a biscuit quilt, but I've never made one. Do you think everybody knows what a biscuit quilt is? Oh, we're getting
No, biscuit quilt is when you take like
a square.
2 squares.
Okay, I've seen them differently. Oh. But go ahead.
Where you right sides together, stitch around, leave an opening, flip it right side out, stuff it full of like polyester batting, and then you end up, and that's your biscuit. And then you just stitch your biscuits together. Mm-hmm. Which could be another kind of one-patch quilt.
It is, yeah. I have seen it where you take a square and you fold it on the diagonal to where it makes a triangle. And they stuff the triangle. So it's only one square. It's not two.
Oh, so your biscuit's a triangle.
Yeah,
It's
your
more
biscuit.
of a popover.
Yeah, it's like
Or
popover.
turnover.
Yes.
No, popovers. Oh, yeah, it's a turnover.
I
Baking
would say
consult agrees with me.
I would say turnover. I'm agreeing
Yeah,
with
it's turnover.
turnover. So yes, but it's a triangle, and then they sewed those together, and you would sew them together like you would do a yo-yo coverlet or a you could do it English paper. Well, you're not using English paper piecing, but a ladder stitch or a stitch together. But yeah, and those are stuffed quilts. They're not traditionally Trapunto, but they're definitely poofy quilts. The one I appraised was from the early 1900s, like, like 1920s, 1930s, I think it was.
What was it stuffed with? They didn't have polyfill batting back then.
No, it was stuffed with cotton.
Oh, that's got to be heavy.
It was.
Holy moly.
It was heavy. It was heavy. And I'd never seen one before, so when they brought it to me, I was like, what is this? I had to go look it up and do research on it because I had not seen one. But it was cool. It's the only one I've ever seen, too. And it wasn't in the best of shape, but I think they're coming back, though. I've heard people talk about these.
Yeah, Leah Days talked about one. She did one and made it look like a pixelated design.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was Mario Brothers. There's a ton of like pixelated kind of 8-bit looking quilt designs.
Right.
It would be very easy to make out of a biscuit quilt.
Oh, yeah. If you're, squares, definitely. And you could,
And she like was weighing the stuffing. I was like, it's got to be exactly 0.03 grams.
Really?
Ounces, whatever, 3 grams, 5 grams. I forget what her measurement was.
I could see, they have all these weighted quilts now that are used for therapy for, different types of, I don't want to say special needs type of stuff. So if you have a child or a person that's, tactile, and they weight quilts according to the child's weight, and it helps settle them and calm them down. I've seen them for dogs too.
Well, same things. The thunder shirt for dogs.
Yeah,
it's like the weighted shirt that you put on your dog when it's a thunderstorm.
Right, so they don't freak out, or fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend whose dog ate like the door jam. Anytime there was a thunderstorm, like, ooh, that's sad.
I had a cat that hid behind the toilet.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't eating wood.
Probably been more traumatic trying to put a shirt on that cat, let's be honest.
There you go. That's true. So
there you go.
So that's Trapunto. Someone asked us to talk about Trapunto, and that's what it is.
And I took the class. Oh, I took it when I went to the Paducah show, like, gosh, years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
I think Trapunto's coming back. Like, I've seen more stuff about it lately.
Well, I think a lot of the free motion quilt designs that we see from Angela Walters looks like Trapunto because she does double bat.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably playing into it quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree. And I do double bat, but to get that fake, I like the dimension. And it's what it's giving you is dimension.
Yep.
When you're looking at it. So, all right.
Alrighty. So does the thought of Trapunto leave you feeling clammy? Let us know. Leave a comment on our blog or on the YouTube episode. And that's all we have for this episode. Today's show is made possible by QT Fabrics. You can learn more about them and their fun fabrics at qtfabrics.com.
We'd like to thank 77 Peaches and Big Think Productions for helping produce The Stitch. If you've enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe.
The next virtual stitch-in is Friday, March 9th at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern, broadcast live on our YouTube channel. My podcast, You Have to Be a Square, is out Fridays or Saturdays on iTunes or Google Play.
And all those details and more can be found on our website, thestitchtvshow.com. Tune in next time for more quilting chat with friends.